Hi, guys. It's great to have you back in episode 2 of our discussion on creative. So, I've got True Classic loaded up over here. These are a very big t shirt brand, so nice and simple so that we can apply it to a lot of different elements and concepts to it without kind of getting lost in translation. And additionally, these guys are doing really well on a advertising side of things. You can see they've got 3 million customers, over 150,000 five-star reviews. So it's really important that we recognize that these guys are going to be implementing a lot of the things that we need to be doing. They're clearly getting a lot right, and we want to learn from that. Okay. So, learning from others is kind of a theme that we'll be talking about throughout this video, but just wanted to plant the initial seed there so that we've got it in our brains as we move forward. Okay, so one of the most important things to remember about creative is that we don't just want to create, just getting loads of ads and then getting them deployed and seeing what the results are. Of course, testing is a really important thing. Volume of creative is a really important thing as well. But we can't fall into this trap of just creating the same kind of concept over and over again. We need to switch things up. Okay. We need to try different things in our approach. And so, what I'd recommend that we do before we create anything is you or maybe your team should have a session where you're actually trying to really drill down on what the reasons why someone would buy from you are. So, for me, these are angles. So, what do I mean by an angle? An angle for me is a reason why someone would or should buy. Yeah, and you can very easily take the that definition and create some good content from it. In fact, I find a lot of the time some of the best ads that I create are when I am focused on an angle that I know through testing is likely to be effective. Maybe it's a proven performing angle that I already have. And then what I'll do is I'll match that to something trending on the perhaps Instagram Reel side of things, perhaps more on the Facebook side of things. But those digital marketing like key concepts of trends, as well as doing your research and getting the angle that's going to really resonate with people is absolutely crucial, because then what we're able to do is we are able to know that we have done research into that angle that we know is one of the most effective ones to target people. And we also know that it's going to be very topical because we're focusing on a trending idea, a trending concept, a trending format that people are using a lot of. Maybe there's a specific trend in the UGC community or a specific concept that a lot of creators are talking about, something that gains a lot of popularity. And that way we can really learn and apply these things to our own strategies and our own attempts at creating the best ads that we can. Okay. All this to say that we don't just want to churn out creative without thinking about it. We definitely want to have this initial research in place. The reason for that is because what about if we just focused all of our efforts on creating and creating and creating? And if we weren't thinking about it, it's really possible that we'd be just focusing on one or two angles, and you'd be surprised at how many business owners or media buyers do that. They'll just focus on one or two angles when realistically they need to be exploring more and more. And so the problem there becomes that what about if those two angles aren't really the reason why people are buying? What about if those haven't been based in research, haven't been based in reviews? And that's why we're going to start with reviews. So the idea behind us starting on True Classic is that we can go into some of their products and we can dive into the reviews behind them. So as you can see, there's loads of reviews in this account or in this website. And if I scroll down, what we can see is we've got a lot of 5-star reviews, but not just that. We've got some really great information that customers have given us, and you might have this information as well. If you find that you don't have a lot of reviews, maybe you have a competitor that has reviews and that you can dive into some of the reasons why people are buying from those. Perhaps people really care about a certain thing and that's something that you offer, or you do that better. And you can actually take from competitor reviews and you can understand, okay, well, if that is a reason why people are buying, we also provide that and we can focus on that. Okay. And that's going to enable you to get some real headway in this research area. So, what I'll do here is I'll spend some time going through the reviews, identifying reasons why people would buy, maybe even potential reasons why people wouldn't buy. Maybe people are saying like, "Oh, this is phenomenal," but I was holding off because of maybe price, for example. I was holding off until a discount. Now we immediately know, okay, the audience is going to be um, sharing that idea. It's going to kind of be a consensus that a lot of people reach that are, well, if this person has said it in our review, in their review, sorry, then it can be applicable to a lot of people that might also be holding out for a discount. Okay, so there's lots that you can take from this. Additionally, I want to highlight this one here because there's great reviews, there's 5-star reviews, and then there's ads, there's reviews that go beyond that, and ones that we can use it as a bit of information or as a spark for our ads. Okay, and so this one I want to dive into a little bit more because they look amazing on my husband. Okay. And then they've actually kept the length of the shirt even after washing. So we've even got some idea of like robustness. Yeah, these shirts have got a bit of like endurance to them. But I really want to focus on this one because the rest of the review is like fairly standard. But this part actually unlocks an angle for us. What we could focus on here, if we just completely ignored this, is we could just focus on the fact that they're like classic, nice, well-fitting tees. Yeah, we could focus on that. But what True Classic do is they actually identify what people want to hear and what outcome they want from this. Quite often, a lot of people will not be buying products just to have a product. They are buying it for the outcome. Okay. You think about the skincare industry, you think about the fashion industry. A lot of these different industries in ecom are actually designed, like they're actually built around making you feel a certain way. There's a certain need that is being fulfilled there. And it goes beyond that with like service delivery things where we are essentially identifying a problem in this is more in the lead generation side or maybe the info product or coaching side. We're identifying a problem and we're trying to help people overcome that problem. And so again, there's needs being fulfilled. It's never really just about, oh, well, I want it, so now I have it. So people who want a t-shirt, if you just want a t-shirt, then there's not really much that's going to differentiate True Classic from anywhere else. These guys are talking about, okay, well, the fit is really good, and a lot of their branding is around that and how they've got a really good fit. But and you can see that here. But why? Why do we care about that? Okay. Well, it's because there's a reason behind it. You want to look better. What for? What's the reason behind that? And we can start to drill down on that. And then we've got the idea of it being, yes, it's comfortable and there's great fit and a lot of people are talking about that, which is very easy to get into an ad. But as an angle, something like this really unlocks an opportunity for us, to start developing ideas. Okay, so you're now as a husband or maybe as a partner, you're going to be impressing your other half, and so this unlocks another reason why people should buy it. The difference between True Classic and an everyday T-shirt is that True Classic's going to make you look amazing in front of your other half. Okay, and that's, you can sit around and you can discuss the like the validity of that, of like whether True Classic truly is the best T-shirt, and none of the others can come close. You can sit around and discuss the validity of that, but the truth is that these guys are saying it in their marketing, and if they're saying it in their marketing, then they're the ones making this message resonate, and that's going to aid ad recall, so people are going to remember that, and it's also going to start planting the seeds that True Classic can solve this need that you have. Okay, I'm just going to dive into the ads library now to further expand on my point. So I'm in the ads library and I have the UK All Ads and True Classic selected. And it hasn't really taken long to identify some of the strategies that they're trying with True Classic's advertising units. Yeah. So the hook for this is I only date men who wear these shirts. Okay. Go from father to daddy with these. And then we can see the world's best wingman. Now let's just go back to the just classic 3-pack landing page, and we can see the idea that you look amazing to other people. In particular, this is more of a romantic side of things. That is all being covered in their advertising strategy. So do you see how they've developed the review, and they've understood what people cared about in the review, and they have advertising units, videos, images, captions, creative copy that are trying to help people by showing that is the response that they'll get from review all the way to developed into ad creative. Okay, so the understanding here, or the piece to understand, is that you can learn so much from a review that it can actually be, some of those more effective reviews can actually be something to explore in your advertising strategy. Okay, so this is obviously really powerful stuff, and I know that this is just a really recent review. Those are their most recent ads, but truthfully, like, lots of these reviews cover these different needs that people have, and that these people like kind of want to hear. Yeah, my husband loves these t-shirts. Again, we're getting that idea of romance, and that can be carried over through to the advertising strategy. Okay, so that's how important research is. So that didn't take long at all to find something that has been taken from reviews to all the way through to a deployed unit. Okay, let's now move into the next stage, which is the 16 human needs. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but the idea is that you can boil down a lot of other needs to these kind of 16 umbrella terms. Okay, and all of the things that you might feel can actually be driven or drilled down into these 16 needs. Okay, and so what you'll typically find is that no matter how niche the thing, a lot of people will just have needs or wants that will actually boil down to these, and therefore you can drill down with your ads and your reviews and your messaging, and you can understand, okay, what do people want? What do people actually want from a nice fitting tee? Well, they want to look good. Why is that? Okay, well, it's for romance, it's for power, that kind of thing. Yeah, because if we go to their homepage over here, we can see that there's a video, and essentially it's talking about how you look in the workplace. Okay, and so this idea of being able to climb the social status ladder, and we can start to identify why people would want this. Now, I know this might seem like overkill because we're just selling t-shirts, yeah, but without this, we're like lost at sea without a compass. We don't know why we're doing this. We have no north star to aim towards. Whereas at least if we know why people are enjoying our products, we can start to look at the reasons why, and start to understand really why people would buy from us. And that is a question that I want to finish this episode on, is why should people buy from you? Yeah. And if I could encourage you to generate and really think about this, but generate 5 different angles of why people should buy from you. And I'm not talking about, oh, well, we offer free shipping, that kind of thing. I really want you to think about this with a great deal of like effort and care and attention to detail, because the difference between an advertising strategy where you say like, oh yeah, we do free delivery on all orders. Now, yeah, that might be a reason why people would or should buy, but is it going to carry us as far as True Classics focus has carried them? Yeah. So what I'm just doing here is taking a case study of a brand that is doing extremely well with their advertising strategy. You can see that by how much they're growing and how much they're investing into the platform for their ads. And truthfully, they will be doing a lot of ad research. They'll then be taking that research, they'll be working on developing briefs, they'll be working with creators, they'll be working themselves with a big focus on how they're going to create those. So once we've got that angle, we've got that message, how are we going to present that? Okay. And so that's going to be a huge element of what they're going to be focusing on. And then they're going to be getting those creators back. They're going to be taking a look at the ones that they want to push, and then they're going to be deploying the ones that they really like. And then you can see here, they're going to be turning off the ones that don't get the performance, and they'll be scaling the ones that do. Okay. So this is an overview of the importance of creative research, as well as how you do it, starting with taking a look at the reviews, taking a look at the ads library, taking a look at competitors. And then if you do get yourselves, if you have some really solid social engagement on the organic side, that might be something to focus on as well. Yeah. And then understanding to like really drill down on the reasons behind that, the needs behind that, and how you can start to generate your own creatives using this research process. So I hope this gives you lots of food for thought as you move forward. And as an action step at the end of this lesson, I would really encourage you to go through your own reviews, go through your own socials, go through your own ad comments, your own organic comments, and try and start understanding why is it that someone should buy from you? Why is it that someone should buy from you and not your competitors? You really need to think about these things, because they're going to inform the ad strategy that you proceed with moving forward. Okay? So I hope this helps. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next lesson, and I will see you there.